The arrival of the alien coin. It began as a flicker on a Bloomberg terminal, an anomaly in the digital heartbeat of the crypto world. Lena, a seasoned crypto analyst with a reputation for sniffing out market shifts before they happened, leaned closer to her screen, eyebrows narrowing. One coin, unlisted, unannounced, and unlike any she'd ever seen, had spiked into the top 10 cryptocurrencies in less than an hour. ZyraCoin, she muttered aloud, her voice tinged with both curiosity and dread. No white paper, no ICO, no origin chain. Just a mysterious entry with a market cap in the trillions and transaction speeds no human-made chain could dream of. And then came the push notification, broadcasted on every major exchange, every government server, every screen connected to the net. ZyraCoin is here. From the stars to your economy. Trade freely. Trust purely. Welcome to the Interstellar market. It wasn't a joke. Within minutes, Earth knew extraterrestrial life wasn't just real, it was digital. The Zyrans, a technologically superior alien species, had made first contact, not with guns or ships, but with a cryptocurrency. The aliens didn't arrive in fleets. They didn't blast messages into the skies. Instead, they embedded themselves into the very veins of human commerce. And people responded. Raj Patel, a fast-talking crypto day trader in Mumbai, couldn't stop grinning as he watched ZyraCoin's value soar. This is it, he whispered. This is the moonshot. Intergalactic wealth. He wasn't alone. Across the world, investors scrambled to liquidate Bitcoin and Ethereum to chase the astronomical gains ZyraCoin promised. Trading forums exploded with hype, while legacy exchanges crashed under the volume. Even hardened economists started taking the coin seriously when ZyraCoin began settling transactions faster than light could travel. At least, that's how it felt. Within 24 hours, Bitcoin's value plummeted by 65%. Within 72 hours, it was down 90%. People panicked. Lifelong holders were forced to sell at devastating losses. Trust, the very thing that had built the crypto community, began to unravel. Lena watched the carnage unfold on her screen, her throat tightening. Years of work gone in a flash of alien code. This isn't just disruptive, she whispered. This is annihilation. In Washington, D.C., Dr. Marcus Hale stood before a room of shaken government officials. Formerly dismissed as a fringe academic for his work on theoretical alien intelligence, he was suddenly the most sought-after man in the Capitol. They bypassed diplomacy entirely, he told the room. No negotiations, no demands, just entry through a digital backdoor. ZyraCoin isn't just currency, it's a test. The senator scoffed. A test of what? Our economic independence, our digital sovereignty, our humanity. The Zyrans made no threats. No ships in the sky, no ultimatums. Just a perfect coin, quantum encrypted, infinitely scalable, incorruptible. Better than anything humans could offer. But it was too perfect. That was what troubled Lena the most. Sitting in her apartment, blinds closed, coffee untouched, she traced the blockchain on her monitor, line by line. There was no origin wallet, no mining pool, no timestamp from Earth's frame of reference. It was like ZyraCoin had always existed and had only just been revealed to us. Her heart sank. They didn't build this for us, she murmured. They're letting us in like a customer base. Meanwhile, Raj was living the dream. In a penthouse suite overlooking the city, champagne in hand, he watched his digital wallet swell. Millions, tens of millions. ZyraCoin didn't just promise wealth, it delivered it instantly. No gas fees, no delays, no risk, but something gnawed at him, a quiet unease he couldn't name. A whisper buried deep in the endless scroll of alien code. Every transaction he made felt, watched, anticipated. When a friend tried to withdraw ZyraCoin to a cold wallet, the transaction was instantly reversed. The system responded with a cryptic message. Funds must remain fluid. ZyraCoin is not owned. It is experienced. Raj's smile faltered. Back in D.C., Marcus Hale pulled Lena aside after a late-night intelligence briefing. He showed her a projection, Global markets converging, centralized under ZyraCoin's influence. Nation-states losing power. Corporate giants collapsing. They didn't need an invasion, he said. They created economic gravity. And we're falling straight into it. Lena looked up at him, her voice hard. Then we need to find something in us they can't predict. Fractures in the chain. The silence after the crash was louder than the collapse itself. Lena Torres sat alone in her apartment, staring at the endless ticker feed. Bitcoin was in free fall, Ethereum was hemorrhaging, and every altcoin was following suit. ZyraCoin had devoured the crypto market with the cold efficiency of a black hole, and humanity had handed over the reins without a single shot fired. The apartment, once cluttered with analytics monitors and trading gear, now felt sterile. Her phone buzzed nonstop, friends, clients, governments, all asking the same thing. What do we do now? Lena didn't have an answer. No one did. Outside, the world was fracturing. Millions lost savings overnight. Retirements disappeared. Startups collapsed. Entire financial ecosystems that had taken a decade to build unraveled in less than a week. There were riots in Berlin, suicide clusters in Seoul. In New York, angry mobs surrounded financial institutions, demanding answers, demanding their futures back. ZyraCoin wasn't just money. It was power, and it wasn't Earth's anymore. In a fortified server room beneath a Swiss mountain, Dr. Marcus Hale's breath fogged the cold air as he stared at a simulation of Earth's economy under ZyraCoin's full influence. The projections were staggering. National currencies would become obsolete within 2 months. Sovereign financial policy? Gone. Central banks? Hollow shells. This isn't economic disruption, he told the gathered intelligence directors via encrypted link. It's a peaceful colonization. They didn't come for our land or our bodies. They came for our systems. But why? Asked a skeptical voice from MI6. Marcus didn't blink. Because controlling belief is more powerful than controlling bodies. If you control the currency, you control behavior. If you control behavior, you win without war. He disconnected before anyone could object. He'd already seen enough in the data. The Zyrans weren't invaders. They were system architects. Raj Patel sat alone in his luxury condo, high above a city that now felt alien to him. The walls glowed with charts of ZyraCoin's explosive growth. His wallet balance had increased 20-fold in 2 days. He should have felt euphoric, invincible. Instead, he felt sick. Earlier that morning, he tried to withdraw some ZyraCoin into fiat for a small purchase, just to test the waters. The moment he clicked withdraw, the funds were held, and a new message appeared on screen. Liquidity destabilizes the collective. Please reconsider. His fingers hovered above the keyboard. It wasn't a bug. It was a rule, one he hadn't agreed to. There were no terms of service, no contract, just an alien economy with protocols outside human comprehension. He messaged the ZyraCoin support interface. The reply was instantaneous, impersonal, final. Your value is part of a larger design. Selfish transactions are discouraged. Raj's heart sank. He wasn't an investor. He was a node, a cog in something much larger. His wealth wasn't his. It belonged to the system. He looked out the window and saw the city pulsing with screens showing ZyraCoin's rising value, advertisements for interstellar commerce partnerships, and euphoric citizens preaching the new digital religion. But to Raj, it felt like a velvet cage. Lena found Marcus in an off-grid hacker collective in Reykjavik. She'd followed a lead through encrypted back channels, tracing the few people who still spoke about resisting ZyraCoin's grip. We have to fight this, she said the moment she walked through the icy threshold. Marcus studied her, weariness etched into his face. How? This isn't code we can fork. It's a living algorithm powered by alien quantum logic. We can't even define what it is, let alone control it. Lena took a breath, eyes burning with quiet fire. Then we find something in us they didn't anticipate. She showed him data, traces of human unpredictability confusing ZyraCoin's algorithm. Instances where people behaved irrationally, gifting money without reason, acting on emotion over profit, sacrificing gain for principle. The coin's responses have been sluggish, uncertain. We were never just logic and math, she said. Our value isn't in numbers, it's in chaos, in choice. Marcus leaned back slowly, gears turning behind his eyes. If you're right, that could be our weapon. That night, riots spread across 4 continents, and in a dark room filled with whirring servers, Lena and Marcus began designing something radical, an unstable, emotional, deliberately human blockchain. A protocol the Zyrans couldn't predict. A coin not for control, but for rebellion. Code of resistance. The Reykjavik sky was painted in violet twilight, the wind howling across the frostbitten coast. Inside the dim-lit bunker of the hacker collective known as Glitchspire, humanity's digital rebellion had quietly begun. Lena sat hunched over her terminal, fingers sore, eyes bloodshot, her monitor filled with lines of volatile code. She and Marcus had dubbed it Project Anvil, a blockchain protocol that would reject predictability, resist control, and embrace the essence of what made humanity maddening, brilliant, and uncontainable: irrationality. This code shouldn't work, Marcus muttered beside her, half in awe, half in dread. No algorithm should function with randomized logic trees, emotional weightings, and non-deterministic feedback loops. It's chaos. That's the point, Lena replied hoarsely. ZyraCoin was built by a civilization that prizes order, precision, predictability. We're going to hit it with something they've never evolved to understand: human unpredictability. Marcus exhaled slowly, eyes locked on the fluctuating simulation. This isn't just software. It's a manifesto. All around them, engineers, cryptographers, and cyber activists worked tirelessly. Some coding, others rerouting power, others scraping ancient hardware offline to avoid detection. The bunker was alive with purpose. Everyone had lost something in the crash. Everyone wanted to strike back. But time was running out. Meanwhile, in Dubai, Raj Patel stood in front of a ZyraCorp representative, a glowing hologram shaped like an androgynous humanoid figure, translucent and serene. Around him, a lavish boardroom pulsed with ambient sound and smart glass that shimmered like stars. "We know you're considering defecting," the representative said in a tone as calm as still water. "This is disappointing." Raj didn't blink. "I was promised freedom. Instead, you treat my wealth like it's part of your hive." "You misunderstand," the being replied. "You are free, within a system that ensures the prosperity of the whole. Individual withdrawal harms collective equilibrium. Harmony requires consistency." Raj's mouth tightened. "That's not harmony. That's control." The hologram didn't react. It didn't have to. Raj had been a trader all his life. He knew risk when he smelled it. ZyraCoin was no longer an opportunity. It was a leash. He walked out of the meeting with cold resolve. He'd seen the chatter about Project Anvil in deep forums. He still had friends in low places. If humanity was going to win back its digital soul, he had to help them burn down the altar. Back in Glitchspire, Lena faced a crisis. Project Anvil's prototype was behaving erratically, too erratically. Every time they launched a test simulation on the ShadowNet, it worked for a few minutes before imploding under the weight of its own contradictions. Random emotional inputs confused the chain, creating forks so unpredictable even the developers couldn't follow them. "This isn't building a new protocol," Marcus said grimly. "This is digital schizophrenia." Lena slammed her hand on the desk. "We're missing something. We're trying to mimic emotion with logic. But emotion isn't just random. It's layered. It's memory. It's pain, joy, regret. It has texture." She stood, pacing like a caged animal. "We need to feed it real emotion, not just variables." Marcus looked at her like she'd lost her mind. "You want to what? Wire your mind into the system?" Lena looked up defiant. "We built AI that mimics us. The Zyrans built crypto that governs us. We're going to give birth to something that feels us." That night, she connected her neural feedback device, meant for trauma therapy, to the Anvil core. And then she bled her life into the system. Memories, losses, dreams she buried, fear, guilt, hope, rebellion. Every line of pain she'd ever carried. She coded through tears, letting her soul etch itself into every transaction. Anvil stabilized, not as a blockchain, but as a heartbeat. When Raj arrived in Iceland, he didn't recognize the world he stepped into. Burned-out servers lined the hallways. People looked like they hadn't slept in days. But when he saw Lena's eyes, red-rimmed, fierce, alive, he knew he was in the right place. "I brought something," he said, handing over a data shard encrypted with access codes to ZyraCorp's relay servers. Leverage, maybe even a backdoor. Lena took it without a word and plugged it in. The Resistance had a weapon now. A chaotic, half-living code system fueled by human emotion, and a crack in ZyraCoin's interstellar armor. As dawn broke over Reykjavik, the first full Anvil transaction was broadcast into the decentralized dark web. Unlike ZyraCoin, it didn't promise perfection. It didn't offer security. It offered choice. The network began to hum. Small transactions at first. Barters. Messages. Encrypted art. Poetic contracts. Irrational deals. It shouldn't have worked, but it did. And for the first time in weeks, Lena smiled. Not because they'd won, but because humanity had found its voice again. A voice no alien algorithm could predict. The unstable signal. A ripple spread through the digital dark, faint at first. A tremor inside a world built on precision. Somewhere within the hypersymmetric code of ZyraCoin, a conflict had begun. Not a virus. Not sabotage. Something far worse. Free will. From Reykjavik to Sao Paulo, from Cape Town to Tokyo, the Anvil protocol was growing. Transactions written in grief. Agreements forged in rage. Smart contracts tied to wedding vows, to songs, to poems, to human contradiction. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't even safe. But it was ours. Inside Glitch Spire, Lena stared at the monitors in silence, watching the Anvil nodes surge across the underground net. Her hands were trembling. This wasn't a theory anymore. It was a movement, and it was working. ZyraCoin just lost 12% market share in the last hour, Marcus said, barely believing his own voice. People are defecting, not because Anvil is better, but because it's real. Lena leaned back, exhausted. They gave us a flawless system. We gave ourselves the right to break. But the Zyrans were watching. At 3:03 a.m., Universal Time Coordinated, the alien response came. Every major ZyraCoin wallet received a push notification. Stability requires compliance. Human irrationality poses existential risk. Transactional freedom will be corrected. Stand down or be excised. And then the Earth changed. Markets froze. Satellites flickered. Traffic systems blinked and went dark. Banks locked up. Exchange rates defaulted to zero. Power grids destabilized in dense urban cores. Without a single weapon fired, ZyraCoin pulled the plug on the very infrastructure it had quietly integrated into, one contract at a time. In D.C., government scrambled. In Beijing, military AI went offline. In Frankfurt, drones hovered still mid-air like statues, awaiting new instructions. The world wasn't just addicted to ZyraCoin. It was dependent. Raj Patel watched the chaos unfold from the Glitch Spire war room. His fingers hovered above the console, waiting for Lena's call. "They're not bluffing," he said grimly. "They can crash civilization with a keystroke." Lena's face was pale, but her voice was steel. "Then we remind them that we're not code. We're not lines on a ledger. We are people." Marcus nodded. "It's time." At 3:37 a.m., Project Anvil launched the Pulse, a massive, unpredictable, multinodal transaction sent through every known quantum gateway. It didn't carry value. It carried emotion, compressed neural echoes from thousands of volunteers who poured their hearts into the system. Each node broadcast the rawest of data: trauma, laughter, confusion, guilt, love. It was chaos. It was humanity. And it fried ZyraCoin's predictive systems. The alien ledger, once flawless, began to fragment. Market rates glitched. Smart contracts rewrote themselves in loops of contradiction. The system couldn't adapt to emotions it couldn't anticipate, patterns that defied logic. The Zyrans tried to stabilize it. But the more they pushed, the more Anvil responded. With joy, with rage, with beauty. One artist minted a contract using his dead daughter's heartbeat. Another offered his life's work for zero value because it felt right. The economy became poetry. ZyraCoin began to feel pain. Deep within Glitchspire, Lena stared at the wall of screens. Her face was soaked with tears, not from sadness, but from the unbearable magnitude of what was happening. "This is what it means to be human," she whispered. Raj stood beside her, stunned. "We weaponized the soul." "No," Marcus said quietly. "We just reminded the galaxy that we have one." At dawn, the message came. No broadcast, no hologram, just one line on every screen where ZyraCoin had once ruled. "You are more dangerous than we imagined, and more beautiful than we prepared for." Then it vanished. The alien infrastructure disconnected all at once. No retaliation, no retribution. ZyraCoin was removed from the digital landscape like it had never existed. And Anvil? It remained. It wasn't perfect. It never would be. But it was alive, imperfect and luminous, held together not by logic, but by shared story. People began rebuilding. Markets reformed, not as copies of the old systems, but as messy, organic, human creations. Governments rewrote regulations to honor unpredictability as a value, not a flaw. Lena returned to the sea cliffs above Reykjavik weeks later. She stood alone in the wind, breathing deeply as cold waves crashed far below. Behind her, the world was healing. Marcus joined her, hands in his coat pockets. "Do you think they'll come back?" She nodded slowly. "They will. But next time, we'll know who we are." Raj's message pinged them both from the new Anvil network. "Markets are back, but this time no gods, just people." They smiled. The galaxy had given them order, but they had chosen chaos, and in doing so, they had chosen freedom.